We are live once more
Yay!
with Coffee with
Yay!
Humans and my new friend Perry Knoppert. Perry, welcome to
Yay!
Coffee with Humans. Oh, hey,
Thank
yes,
you.
cheers.
Cheers. Finally, that's a long introduction.
Hey, what do you think it should be shorter?
No, of course not. But then I'm eager to talk to you, and I'm right. And I saw the introduction before, and I see it again. I'm like, yeah, but I want to talk to Jason. What is this? It's too long.
Oh, you're too kind. This is good.
And then
I love it.
and then it is gone. And then the
And
introduction
it's
was
gone.
gone. And it's gone in
Okay.
real life.
Okay, so for all our viewers and listeners just joining us here on Coffee with Humans, the title of this chat is "And It's Gone," and I don't know why, because I didn't name it, and I think we'll find out. I think we'll find out maybe more a little bit later about why it's named "And It's Gone." But you can clearly see that we've been having a good time talking about that. Uh, so I do got to ask though. I know you're not in the United States.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, I and I recently changed the little links to when people sign up to ask where you're at. So I know you're in Amsterdam. I'm not. I'm near Chicago, Illinois, in these states.
Cool. Yeah. And we're
What's
connected.
we are so connected
It's
through
amazing,
this internet. Yeah,
right? And through dark fiber going through the ocean with ones and zeros, and we're still connected. How amazing is that? I love that.
it's actually really amazing. It's
It
very,
is.
very amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. It's super
So
cool. I always
what?
have to think about that when I'm on Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's always that connection and that you can feel someone, so to speak. But I'm talking
Hmm.
to my laptop and your tiny little screen in front of me. So I can't even see you well. And still I feel a connection. How awesome is that?
It's very awesome. Yeah. And it
I
all
love that.
happens with all this technology that nobody thinks about.
Exactly. And just take it for granted. It's there. Just press the button. And if it's not working, we get very angry, right? But if it's working,
So
we just
angry.
pretend that everything is absolutely normal.
So angry. Yes. You know what else
Oh,
I
we
get
have a
angry at?
viewer. We have a
I get
viewer.
well,
Yeah.
we've got lots of viewers. This chatting thing or this what is it? Restream. This streaming platform, depending on what how people log in, like what they're watching on, yeah, sometimes there's a viewer count like right up here.
Like there. Yeah. There. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I can't go to your screen. That would be cool if my hand would go to your screen, right? Anyway,
That that would be
yeah.
okay. And it's gone.
And
Oh.
it's gone. You see? And it's gone. Yep. It's a
Oh
good
my
title.
gosh.
Yeah. Sorry.
So why did you name it And It's Gone?
Well, isn't that what's happening a lot in our lives? And then it's gone. You have a good feeling and everything is going well, and then it's gone. Then something else happens, nasty surprise, and the good feeling is gone. Or you're sleeping so nicely in your bed, and then the alarm goes, and it's gone. The dream of riding a boat, motorcycle, or whatever, right? And it's gone. Or you're on Zoom and it's going very well and you're connected and you have a very good conversation, and then your Wi-Fi screws up and it's gone. And it's fascinating because sometimes when that happened and it's gone, something else comes up which makes it even better. But the first response is, oh shit, it's gone, right? But then something else happens. So, and then it's gone. I think it's fun. And you were asking me if there would be a book about you, or you would be writing a book, or there
Yeah,
is a book anyway.
if your life were a novel, what would one of
Yes,
the chapters be titled? Yeah.
and then it's gone. And I thought that would be a nice chapter. And then it's
Yeah.
gone. Yeah, very short chapter, I think, just a page or a sentence, and then it's gone. Next
So
page.
this thought of and it's gone is actually a pretty deep thought for you. It's not just a joke.
It is. It is a deep thought. It is a joke, and it is also, I'm signing up with your amazing show. First of all, I think what you're doing is awesome. I'm super jealous of you. That's you're broadcasting live. It's on all these platforms, and you're just inviting people to have tea. In my case, I don't drink coffee now. This is tea anyway. But we're having coffee on Zoom. We don't know each other. We have no clue what will happen in this conversation, and I love this. I think it's so cool. And I interview myself. I'm on YouTube and I interview people and I'm enjoying that. And then Eugenie, who was on your show the other time,
Yeah.
and she said to me, Perry, you love nonlinear people. You need to talk to Jason. You need to connect with Jason. So I went to your website and I could just sign up to be in your show. And what I loved about it, I did that just a few days ago. I love instant
Yeah.
satisfaction, right? I've been like, oh, that's a cool website. Oh, that's a cool show. I'm on it. This happened within a few days. I love it. And then it's gone.
Okay. I'm with you on this. Well, she's signing in. So she made a comment. It is a bit like life, and then it's gone. So live each day to the full. So
Excellent.
you two know each other. How do you know each other?
We two know each other. It's how do I know Eugenie? Eugenie signed up with my movement, the Octopus movement, because why? Um, I'm all into nonlinear people. I think nonlinear people are so awesome. They're rock and roll. They are the future. It's awesome. And a good friend of Eugenie, I met her on Clubhouse, and I was talking to other nonlinear thinkers, multipotentialites on Clubhouse, and she was there, her friend, and she had no clue she was a multipotentialite. And then she thought, "Oh my God, this weird dude from the Netherlands is absolutely right. He's describing my life." So we connected, and then she's such a sweet person, and she was talking about me, some fruitcake in the Netherlands, about multipotentiality, and she was connecting that to other people she knew. And then Eugenie came into the movement. I got in touch with Eugenie. I interviewed her because, White, you have the same experience with her. What a remarkable lady. Here she is, 70 years in Johannesburg, and as active as the both of us, and going for it, and smart and brilliant and elegant and kind and beautiful all at the same time. I'm like, oh, she's wonderful. And then she said to me, Perry, listen to me very carefully. You need to go to Jason. Now, here I am. If Virginie says that, I do that.
If she told me to go talk to somebody, I would do that too. Which is
Right?
she brought
Yeah.
up she brought up she brought up your information, and she talked to me about this the multi-potentialite thing, which I've heard of now twice, let's say, with different words. You say multi-potentialite. There was somebody else who said, I can't remember what the word was that they used. But what is the
Brilliant.
multi-potentialite thing?
So do you think you are a multi-potentialite, Jason? I will answer your question, but I'm dying to know. Do you think you're a multi-potentialite?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
for sure.
That's the good answer. So what is a multi-potentialite to me? It's someone who connects the dots that are outside of the normal scope. It's someone who oversees everything. And I think these people have neurons that are on constant Coca-Cola, Coke, or whatever. They're going much faster. They make connections so fast. So the 10,000 hour rule, the little book, you need to practice 10,000 hours to become a specialist. Throw it in the fire. That's not applicable to us. We don't need 10,000 hours. We need 5,000 or 2,000. We make these connections faster. And that's why we do multiple things, because we can't stick to one thing, because our brain needs more fuel. It needs exercise. It's like running a marathon, and you get addicted to it and you want to run farther and faster. And that's what's happening in our brain. We want to explore more and find out more and connect more and do things more, and then it's gone. right?
Okay. I agree with you. I think you're onto something with that. You didn't make
You
this
think so?
up. So
No.
where's okay. Where'd you get this
So
from?
I got this from. I can move, right? I can't sit still. I
Yeah.
this
As
this
long as you have pants
is
on.
yes, I do. Look, it's orange pants. No worries. This is Refuse to Choose. It's a book of Barbara Sher. Barbara Sher,
Okay.
she's no longer with us, unfortunately. She's brilliant. So she wrote this book in, when was this? 2006, probably, making a major mistake, maybe. No, 2006. So she was writing about the scanner. And the scanner is someone who does multiple things and has difficulty in choosing things, stick to one particular specialism, want to do lots of
Okay.
things. And then a few years later, Emily Wapnick saw this book, was reading this book as a scanner, as a multipotentialite, but she was thinking, you know, one of the chapters is saying scanner panic. Scanner is not a nice word. It's what are you? I'm a scanner. It doesn't sound very, very optimistic to me, right? Anyway, so Emily Wapnick thought, let's create a different word, and she created multipotentialite, and she added superpowers to it. So now everybody is very positive in saying, I'm a multipotentialite and I have superpowers. I can connect to other people from other cultures very easily. I oversee things and I connect easily and I can solve issues. So Emily Wapnick did such an amazing job in creating the word multipotentialite. She did a TED talk about it. She's famous. It's brilliant. I love the word multipotentialite.
I just remembered the word that Angie Legg, Legg, she was on Coffee with Humans a long time ago. And she used the word polymath.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think they're the kind of this. Is that the same
it's
or
the same.
similar? Okay.
You have scanner, you have a polymath, you have a multipotentialite, you have a jack of all trades, you have a creative generalist, you have a zebra and Renaissance man. So you have all these different words for basically the same thing. And I think a polymath considers themselves more a multiple specialist, and a multipotentialite considers themselves more as a creative generalist. But in essence, it's all the same thing. So that's why I prefer to talk about nonlinear people. It's
Okay.
all the same, basically.
Why
So
does
you're a polymath or a multipotential, it doesn't matter.
so why does this matter to you? Why do you care?
Because I figured out a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, that I'm a multipotentialite. And before that, I was trying to fit the profile of society. I was trying to do my best to be a specialist, which I'm not. So I was trying to fit in and trying to be successful regarding the expectations of the people around me. And that never worked. And I was always a bit weird. I was always a bit of the weirdo and a strange person. And and I always had people, you have to focus more, or you have to stick to one thing, or your time will come, or and I just wanted to do lots of things. So then I figured out what is really happening. And I started to interview people all over the world because I figured out I'm a multipotentialite. So I thought, what happens with a multipotentialite in Bangladesh, or what happens with one in South Africa? So I started to interview all multipotentialites all over the world and to find connections, what's happening there. And then I noticed something so awesome is that we connect anyway, anyhow. It doesn't matter what skin color, what color of your eyes, what religion, what kind of background, what kind of education. If there is a common factor of nonlinear thinking, there is an instant connection. And I thought that was awesome. So I wanted to do something with that. And I'm creating a documentary now to to show the world what is this, because it's being misunderstood. I have an ex-wife who's very linear, and she doesn't get me, right? For a linear person, this is the way to success. This is how to be successful, and this is what success is, how it should look like. And For us, it's not. It's something else. And there's this misfit. And I started to talk to more and more multi-potentialites. And then at one point, I was talking about how weird it was that there is a polymath and a multi-potentialite. And I thought, that's again linear thinking. It's again putting it in a little box, in a label. Can we create something, an image that reflects to all nonlinear people? And then someone said very brilliantly, not me, someone else, and she said, I always use the octopus just for the fun of it. And then I said, that's it, the octopus movement. Let's create that, and that's how it all started. Yeah, exactly, the octopus movement.org. And why do I care? How cool would it be if we could change something? How cool would it be if some of these linear people, I'm not against linear people, but some of these linear people that are in government or in organizations or in whatever, and they open up a little bit more for nonlinear people. If I go with my resume and I apply for a job, and then people are looking at my resume and they're thinking, who the fuck is this? He's selling animal nutrition in Beijing. He produced a TV show. He wrote a book. He was a CEO of a startup. Who are you? We can't do anything with you. And if that changed, then I think something cool will happen in government, in organizations, in education, in relationships. I think I got into a divorce, not only because I'm very difficult to be with, but also because there's a misunderstanding there, right? Are you married, Jason?
I am just closing out one.
Oh, cool.
Is it though?
What happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. And then it's gone. Yeah.
And then it's gone. No, I think the root of it is that people change at different rates, and sometimes the tension of change is too great, and the bonds are broken. And I think it was a pretty big life change. Big life changes. Certain periods of success and didn't know how to deal with that, and then struggle, didn't know how to deal with that, and didn't have the ability to communicate in ways that were ways that brought people together, and instead it just separated. So
yeah,
that's the simple explanation.
It doesn't.
I've done a bit of diagnosing of. I've done a bit of diagnosing of the situation, as you may imagine.
Yeah,
it's a multi-potentialite.
Exactly. Well, I'm divorced now for what is it, 8 years. I still haven't figured it out exactly what happened. So it's it's a difficult one, I think.
It's complicated.
It is. Yeah.
But
exactly.
But it is. I mean, it's. I think part of it is what you talk about with this multi-potentialite thing, because a person who's constantly, like, I'm constantly connecting things, and I can't shut it down. And I used to think I was nuts. I mean, I didn't really think I was nuts, but it was just like, I always feel disconnected from things. I always feel disconnected from life. I'm like, can't just sit in the moment, because I'm like thinking, walking down the damn street, just taking a walk, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, there's a trail from a slug, and I'm taking a picture of it. I'm like, how do slugs create the goo that allows them to go across the ground? And if they didn't create the goo, a slug wouldn't work. Right? And like, it's like, can you just take a fucking walk? No, you can't.
No,
it just gotta. You gotta pick apart why the hell slugs have goo on their butts. Like, why do this? It doesn't make a difference. It's like, and it in one hand, it complicates matters. That constant connection complicates things, and then on the other hand,
and it's not one thought, Jason. This is not just the slug. That's 10 seconds, and then it's gone, and then there's another thought.
It is so fast. So fast. Like
Oh God.
I remember at one point in time, and I I appreciate this guy. But some relationships have sell by dates. That's cute.
Yeah.
So yes, they. I remember talking with somebody at one point in time. They asked my opinion on something. Like, hey, what do you think we should do in this thing? And I said, well, I think here's what it is. And they're like, well, that's it. I don't know. They kind of felt like it might have been a little bit fast. And I was like, you don't understand. The moment you brought it up, my mind went down so many paths so fast. I brought it as it came all back. Like every path was like categorized, ranked, prioritized in an instant. And then I was like, here's how I think this works. Like, and I
And
don't know what it's like to not do that. It's just,
yeah.
it's always been my life.
Well, smoke weed, then you can experience what happens when that shuts down. Have you ever smoked weed?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Although
right?
I'm more,
Ooh.
I'm more into edibles now.
Okay. Anyway, so it's true. And if someone starts talking
Yeah.
after the first sentence, we already know what that person is going to say for the next 10 sentences. And during these other 9 sentences, we're already connecting other things to the first sentence, right? Isn't that how it works?
Yes. I've had to exercise the skill of not allowing my brain to move during conversation. It's been a thing.
It is. Yeah, I'm purposely quiet now. I'm listening. And
Okay,
another thing
we're
is,
not going to do the quiet contest.
no, definitely not. The other thing is sometimes when I want to focus on the story that someone is saying, it helps me if I'm on my phone at the same time, because then I wander less off in the conversation. So if I'm just focused on you listening to your story, then my brain goes in all directions, connecting things, and it goes fast. If I have something else to distract me, I can focus better just on your story. Do you have that as well? It's weird, I know.
I don't. I No, I don't. If I'm distracted by a phone, my mind is into that. I have what am I thinking?
What's
I
happening
think
now?
well,
And then it's gone.
and then it's
You
gone.
see, it's a
I
good
was
title.
I was thinking that in conversation, I've had to purposefully decide when when I have responsibility and when I don't. So if I don't have responsibility for you, I can shut down a lot of stuff. A lot of my like and then because then I don't have to follow the path because the path
Mhm.
doesn't matter to me,
No, no.
right? But if I'm focusing, so like if somebody says, "Hey, can you come help me with something?" and I focus in on that, then like boom, 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 boom. It's almost like I can turn up the dial and then turn it back down. And I've had to practice just being still, just relax, just be there, just enjoy the moment, and not have to give in to every fast movement into I don't know into every little thing. Like this morning, I woke up and I heard a new bird call that I had never heard before.
Yeah.
And then like in a moment, I'm thinking like all the birds I know, all the birds I've ever heard about. What is that bird call? Why is it so? And then I was like, and then I couldn't stop listening for that bird. I'm doing other things, and all of a sudden something just kind of comes a little bit is almost like that bird call. And I was like, that's not the bird call. Maybe it is the bird call. Maybe that's the female. Maybe it's the male. It's like all of these
Maybe it's
things.
a flying snail.
That's not a thing.
No, I know. I still have to think about the slug on the. Anyway. So you are aware of the fact, Jason, that you're capable of doing this show very well because you're a non-linear thinker, right? If you're
Yes.
linear, then it's impossible because you get all kinds of people next to you on this screen, and you
Yeah,
have to connect super fast, whatever the story
totally.
is. And you can only do that when you have a brain like yours. So, chapeau,
I think
good
that's
job.
true. Yeah, I think it's.
No,
I agree.
yeah,
I tell people, and this is very true. My superpower is I can see people.
yeah,
Like I can understand people sometimes more than they can understand themselves in a matter of minutes. Sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more. And there are very few people who are sort of enigmas. There once in a while, there's a person that's just like, I cannot read you at all. I don't know
yeah.
where the hell you're at in space, but you're not anywhere near my orbit. And I don't know why that is. I haven't quite figured it out, but it would be fun to find out why certain people I
That's
cannot read. But there
fascinating,
are other
right?
people. There are other people who it's just like, man, you are an open book. I see, it helps me in my work. Like I do business advising for people,
Hmm.
and people will talk to me for a brief moment about whatever it is they're dealing with. I'll ask a handful of questions, blah 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 blah, and then it's just like, and all of a sudden my intuition kicks in, and I'm just like, here's what I think, and I'm like, this, if this resonates with you, that's awesome. If not, that's fine too. And it's just like, boom. And several times a week, someone will come up to me and say, or connect with me here online or even in person, and they'll say, this is amazing. Like, how do you know me? We've had one talk and you feel like you've known me forever. How do you know these things about me? And I was just like, it is what it is. Like
So
it's what I do.
now you can say it's very clear. I have a nonlinear brain. My neurons connect faster than all the others, and that's why I see everything immediately, and that's why I get to you so fast. Now you can explain it.
I don't want to explain it that way, but I agree
Oh,
with
oh
you.
shit. Yeah. But it's true, right? Oh, don't explain. No, it's better to say, I don't know.
My neurons
It
connect
it
faster
just
than yours.
yeah. That's why you're paying me and not paying you. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm teasing. And it's gone. Woo!
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
So what do
So
you
no,
so
I'm
talk
curious.
yeah.
No, can I ask a question? So
Yeah, go ahead.
the one we don't get, or the one we get in a fight with. Sometimes that happens. So 99 out of the 100 cases we meet, it's like a connection, or we just understand and we understand not to connect. That's also possible. Uh, but sometimes it's like this. It is not working at all.
Hmm.
What happens there, you think? So your neurons are going like this, and you see through and you understand, and still there is a big collision there. Why do you think that happens? I don't have the answer. I'm just curious. I'm curious what you think.
I only have one answer, and there might be more, but I love this line of questioning. This is good. Um,
Thank you. Yeah.
here's what I find. This is just for me, but
Yeah.
here's what I find. Sometimes I can see people, and they got their head so far up their ass that they can't see themselves. They can't see how full of shit they are. And wow, this is this a family show? I don't even know. You got me going now. And I
Who cares? Yeah.
and
And it's
and
gone.
what
Yeah.
happens in my mind is I have to be like, either I have to continue to engage with this for the good of the world somehow, like, or I just have to ignore you.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you know what, do your thing, bye. and
Yeah.
and it happens in my mind first. Like, it's like, okay, I cannot suffer this conversation, peacing out. And that's and it's like it's a little switch that flips. And that's and I think usually because I think it happens because I genuinely do care about people.
Here, here. Yeah.
And when that person is so resistant, I think sometimes to just being just like be a person for a moment. Because I can see all the layers of crap that you're trying to like throw in front of me. I can see right through it. So would you just be you? and if a person just refuses, it's just like, I don't have time for this because I have things to do in the world. And
Yeah.
and uncovering your stuff when you don't care to be uncovered, I don't need it. Do your thing, but I'm not doing it with you. And I think it becomes a point of contention almost in my mind, that I've had to just learn to lay down. It's like, forget it. Put it over here.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll change in the future. Maybe it won't. Doesn't matter to me.
Maybe when we're old and gray, then no, I don't know. It's sometimes I'm thinking, is it ego? But I can handle ego from others very well, and it's not always an issue. Maybe talking to narcissists, is that the way to put it in English? Because in Dutch it's a narcissist, and in English it's a narcissist, right? So a narcissist, when it's really only about me, myself, and I don't want to listen to you, and my way is the only way, then I find it difficult. Then my neurons can connect like crazy, but no,
Yeah.
it's hard.
I think, and I think I think a lot of people have a hard time with narcissists for sure.
Yeah,
There's another time when it kicks in for me, and it's like, I have intuitively known the value that however I'm wired can create for folks. And then I've proven that it can create value by really leaning into it, really working with people. And when a person asks for that, but clearly is not going to do anything with it, they're like, hey, what do you think is the, best solution or whatever? And I'm just like, I'm taking my mental resources, which I think are pretty valuable, and then giving them to you, and then you're just like,
yeah,
that's neat. This,
yeah,
and I'm just like, forget it. Go
yeah,
get your inputs from somebody else.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's clever thinking. Yeah, bye. That's not because the thing is, it appears that it's so easy for us. It is, but it isn't. So people come to us and ask for advice and to think with them and be creative, and of course we love that, and we use all these connections and craziness. But because it seems so easy, they forget that it also takes some effort for us in organizing all these connections and wires, and to create some output out of this and to share that with someone. Thanks,
Yeah.
bye. Oh, it's so easy for him. It's normal. It's not. It's difficult. It is. It takes some effort to structure these crazy lines and to create one output, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's easy, but it's not free.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's not for free, and it's not just like that, and it's not just for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. There
And
is a cost that, and I know, and I don't know how to quantify the cost. I don't know if it's quantifiable, but I do know that there is absolutely a cost, a mental cost to going through the exercise and putting things together. And
yeah,
I can get exhausted on that. Sometimes I've exhausted my own, my own, my own self and my own life by just spinning on things, thinking I'm going to come up with a different output, and I'm not. Uh, but when I engage with somebody else, I have to be careful about I have to be careful about how I spend those resources, or I'll have nothing left,
yeah,
and then I'm useless for myself too, and that's not good. So
no,
there is a intuitive calculation that happens about whether it's worth engaging or not. It just happens.
exactly. So more people like us should be in management positions at governments and connecting these dots fast thinking solutions outside of the box, forget the whole box, and make this into a better place. What about that? Are you with me, Jason?
I
Or are you
am,
saying keep
I
keep
am,
keep
but
yeah.
but I'm not.
Mm,
Here's why.
tell me.
So I went on a man weekend, uh, I don't know, some time ago, to
What
work
is a
through.
man weekend? What is
Yeah,
that?
I know. It was
Okay.
a time to kind of just like guys get together and focus on all the shit that's going on in their lives, and let's sift this through, and let's Um, let's get to the bottom of this stuff, right? And what are you going to do about this stuff in your life, right? Clean,
That's
clean,
a
clean up your,
that's a
clean up
man
your,
weekend.
clean up your soul.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. Some man weekends are camping and drinking in the mountains, but this was not. This was a
Okay.
different one.
This is
But
not the typical man that has a nothing box that they can think about nothing. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. And they're actually
no,
really doing nothing.
this is the time when you're like, let's dig in and let's
Oh,
figure out
okay.
what's going on inside here so that you can go be a
That's
better
cool.
person.
That's a fun
Yeah, for
weekend.
sure.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, they ask at some point in time they ask, what's your spirit animal? If you were an animal, what would you name? What animal would you be? And I got to thinking, I was like, well, I was like, well, maybe I'm like an eagle. And I
An
was like,
eagle.
no, yeah,
Uh,
like an eagle. Yeah. I
yeah.
was like, no, I'm, and I was like, no, I'm not an eagle. Like, cause I feel like I don't know. I just felt like an eagle. Anyhow, I was just spinning this thing around. I could not figure out what animal. I was just like, none of the animals that I'm aware of, really speak to me. And then all of a sudden it hit me and I was like, falcon. And I was like, I'm a falcon. And I thought, and it's just like, boom, yes, you are. And here's why.
Flying high.
Falcons fly high. Falcons are quiet. There aren't many of them. When they are ready to go kill, they kill and then they leave. And then they go back to their tiny little group of falcon family, sitting on the corner of nowhere, not paying attention to anybody, hoping nobody's paying attention to them. They see, and then here's the other part. They don't have a kingdom. They see above all the kingdoms. They see further than the king. The king says, hey, this is my land from here to there. The falcon is above and saying, yeah, but that's only part of the story because there's this other person over here coming to take, like, right? We see further, we see faster. We are in, we're out, we do our thing, we disappear. I don't need to be seen popping out. And then once I am seen, people are like, oh my God, it's Falcon. You're like, yep, I'm a Falcon.
Falcon Jason. Thank you, Eugenie. Falcon Jason. That's your new name.
Yeah. So anyhow, I came away thinking Falcon.
So that's why
That's
you're
my animal.
saying, let's not put these non-linear thinkers in governments and organizations because they need to be in their own spot, overseeing everything and not be
They
a
need to
part
do
of the
their.
crowd.
They need to take care of the stuff. A nonlinear thinker is not going to take care of stuff. We're going to make the connection. Well, I'll speak for myself. I think,
Please
and if
do.
we are kind of
Yeah.
the same, but I'm not going to. So I do business advisory work, but I tell people I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach because I have no staying power for week to week to week to listen to your stuff. I don't have staying power for that. I don't have staying power for my own stuff week to week to week. I'm not doing that. It's not that I don't care. It's just that I will get spent on this because it's like, okay, now I just go do something. And and so when I was a programmer, I remember I'm a self-taught programmer and I owned an e-commerce company for a bit. And I would dig in and program. I would program enough. I would program super fast, making these fucking amazing pieces of software to run an organization that I knew had errors. Like I knew had things that didn't work, but I had already isolated them very quickly in my mind that little thing that doesn't work doesn't matter. And so I would walk out to my staff at times and be like, hey, I just put this thing in place, but in that box where you have to enter the such and such, don't put, numbers in there. I mean, it's just an example, right? Don't put numbers in
Yeah.
there because it's going to break.
Yeah.
Now, a person who's really an expert programmer would have error corrected for all of those things to make it a really positive, experience on the front end for the user. And I'm just saying, hey, no, I got to get on to the next thing. And so I would write stuff super fast, amazing connections to things, and then I would hand it off to somebody else and say, hey, I'll go clean this thing up. Because they're going to take forever to make it work. And they don't even know how it could possibly work. But I'm on, boom, it's written, done. You go fix it and make sure it's really perfected. And that I think is the role of a nonlinear thinker. I call myself an interventionist. Like I'll meet with you for, let's say, an hour and a half, uncover all sorts of things. You'll go off with your marching orders, but then you got to do it.
Yeah. Well,
And then you
isn't
can
that
report back to me. That's fine.
Yeah, but it is also a brilliant connection that we have linear and non-linear people working together, right? Because when
I
you're
think it's
linear
necessary.
and you're stuck at your little branch of the tree, and that's the only thing you see, you need someone who can see the whole flipping tree and the roots under the ground and how
Yep.
it's connected to other trees. Otherwise, you get lost. The problem only today is that the world is over specialized. So you have all these branch specialisms all together, and they're working together. So they see a little piece here, they see a little piece there, and they're working together. It's not working. And I don't think that all nonlinear people have difficult, and I like this animal, by the way, but that's something else. They, of course, not all of them don't like to finish things. For myself, I was in the same position as you, but now I'm working on this project for almost 2 years now, and I can see myself doing this for another 10 years. And because so many things are happening within the same atmosphere, umbrella, world, whatever. And that's it. And I also discovered the link between neurodiversity and multipotentiality, that neurodiversity creates multipotentiality. And if that's not in place at the right position, and you're struggling with that, and you're fighting with that, and your avatar is someone else than you really are, then what do? You create more ideas, or you start more projects in order to feel good, because that's how we feel good. We don't feel good by running or playing sports or by eating or drinking or drugs. For us, it's in the brain. It's creating new projects that makes us feel good, right? So if your neurodiversity is not at the right place, at the right recognition, then you're going to counterbalance with even more ideas and more projects. It's going to be a mess. So I would always say, figure out what's really happening with you. What is your label? What do you have? ADHD, ADD, bipolar? What's are you dyspraxia, dyslexia, whatever? Understand yourself better, and then you understand your own multipotentiality better, and you can finish things. That's what I think, at least. But who am I?
No, I agree with you. I think there has to be a certain amount of creative input and creative expression for a multi-potentialite. And that's that's part of what Coffee with Humans does for me. Yeah. I get to meet all sorts of people. I get to make connections, and it all sits in a little box. And then I move on with all the other stuff I got going on in my life. And I actively simplify. I've learned that I need to actively simplify all the other stuff that I do, and but also have a method or some place where it's just like connection, just it at scale.
Yeah.
Because my brain needs to feed off of that, off of those inputs. It keeps me, it's almost like, because the sifting sorting mechanism happens so efficiently, and because I think it's so valuable to make connections, because I think it expands my mind, and then I feel like I can better serve other folks too.
Yeah.
Then I just need a high volume of things to sift and sort through.
I always think that humans are like medicine. Talking to the right humans, to the right people, it feels like medicine. If you're feeling depressed, you're not feeling well, and you're talking to someone, then instantly something can happen and you feel much better, And I'm not talking about sucking the life out of someone else and go with that. I'm really, it's about inspiration. It's about the connection. And I think Coffee with Humans maybe is your medicine bottle, right? It's making all these connections and meeting these people. It makes you feel good. And
Oh yeah.
therefore, you are an amazing person and you do brilliant things and people want to hire you. And you found it, I think.
Yeah, or it found me, one or the other. But the
Both. And then it's
both
gone.
exactly. It will be gone at some point in time for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's that is a huge reason why Coffee with Humans exists.
Yeah.
It was it it was the intersection of service to others and service to myself,
Yeah.
for sure. And
Exactly.
that's and then there's also the global scale, which is another thing. Like I've done a lot of local stuff, done a lot of regional stuff. It's like I don't need that anymore. I can't. I have got everything I have. Everything I do has to be on a national or international scale because I cannot suffer the tiny stuff. I can't do it anymore.
And thank God there was a pandemic, or there is a pandemic. And thank God everybody's on Zoom. And thank God everybody understands how to be on Zoom, right? Because that really is so nice for our nonlinear brain because we can connect even further and go to different nationalities, different cultures, different whatever. And it's all thanks to COVID. Because before that, I was using Zoom before COVID. I'm not proud of that. It's just saying. And every time I wanted to Zoom with someone, it saves so much time. I could do two, maybe three appointments a day, traveling locally and meeting people. Or I can be on Zoom and I could do 7, 8 appointments a day all over the world. That's easy. But before COVID, I would send them an invite and say, let's meet on Zoom. And Zoom? What is Zoom? Well, it's a link you install. No worries. I can't because I don't have any permission on my own laptop from the company to install anything. So I need to go to the IT support to install Zoom. Oh, God, it was horrible. So difficult to Zoom with other people. But now it's so easy. Everybody's on Zoom. I love that.
Yeah, it's unlocked the technology. Uh, what I guess, yeah, COVID has created a space where people have to up their technological capability for connection, and that's great. I mean, without it, you're right. You're absolutely right. Without it, this would be a struggle still. And I
Exactly.
don't. And
Yeah.
I think it has. I think it has shifted the world in a good way. And and so, back to this idea of, should be multi-potentialites be in government? I think that there should always be. I think multi-potentialites make good advisors. I think because they being able to look, they people are naturally looking outside of our scopes, and so to come in with somebody else who has blinders, who is a specialist, and then say, hey, have you thought about all of this stuff over here, and here's how it all connects, and then let that person go off and do and work through their stuff. I think it's
Yeah.
highly effective.
I think so too. That needs
Hmm.
to change, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So
So what will
how are you going about that change with this octopus movement? I haven't even
well
looked at the
we
website.
oh, you will at some point. It's we have members all over the world. We just
Okay.
created a think tank with the members that are all nonlinear and we're all connected to each other and we're going to solve some big issues in the world and write white papers to give advice to governments and organizations and saying, this could be a solution. And we're just connected and we're educating. We have octopus teachers, octopus specialists going to educational systems and explaining, well, if you have students that are multipotentialite, they learn in a different way. We're going to HR departments. If you want to hire people, don't just look at specialists. Maybe you should hire also some multi-specialists or some multipotentialites. Google is already doing that. Some investment banks in the States are already doing that, saying we want to have the Swiss army knife as a person in our organization, someone who can do it all and is very flexible and is fearless. And I think we're fearless in a way. Why? Because we can see all these connections. So there's always a way out. There's always a solution. There's always something that we can do to make a difference. And that's what we do with the octopus movement, with all these brilliant people connecting all over the world. We have a manifesto, and it's awesome. And it only started 4.5 months ago, and wow, it's going fast. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
nonlinear people are also saying, I want to do something, and also I want to be understood. Don't judge me because I'm not a specialist like you. you know don't do that, because I know as much as you do as a specialist, and I know other things as well. So, and of course, some of these nonlinear people like myself are being very frustrated when we apply for a job, that people would look at our resume and say, you know, I don't even want to talk to you because I cannot place you in one segment. That's wrong. Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like where I truly do like where you're headed with that. And I think it's my experience that a lot of nonlinear, higher performing nonlinear thinkers, these multi potentialites you're talking about. I think sometimes there are folks who are multi potentialites and they get lost. They get lost
Oh
in the
yeah.
confusion, like the maze of their own mind.
Yeah.
But then there's the folks who by whatever capacity has happened, whatever's happened for them, they use it for great strength and great capability. It's those folks, I think, multi-potentialites are more likely, and now maybe this is not true, but I'd love to see a study on it. Are multi-potentialites more likely to want to do big world changing things
I think so.
because of the ease of connecting across, like we're talking about, like across kingdoms? Naturally, we know that whatever the thing you're talking about here is much bigger in scope, and so therefore we have to address the bigger scope, because otherwise our brains won't rest.
Yeah. And I think some brilliant people in the world are nonlinear thinkers. They achieved amazing things in their lives, and it's only possible if you are nonlinear, and when you have your nonlinear capability under control, and you're
Mm-hmm.
in the driver's seat, and taking the big advantage of these fast neurons connecting. Well, if you have that under control, wow, amazing things you can do. I need to open the door
Yes.
for my dog. My dog is not feeling well, and she's now
Oh no.
sitting on my lap, and I need to open the door. So I'm listening, but I'm going off camera for just a
Okay.
few seconds. Say hi,
Yeah.
dog. Say hi.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
dog.
Hi, dog. No, no. She's very linear now. I think she needs to go out, so I'm going to open the door. You want to go out? Come, come. And we're live on.
And yeah, we're live here with Coffee with Humans. Perry just walked off screen to go take his dog outside because the dog's and he's back.
So the dog needs to have a little poo, probably. She's not feeling well. So, okay,
Oh,
sorry, I'm back.
no, you're totally fine.
I love this. So, Jason, what will happen with Coffee with Humans? What is the is there a aim of the game? Is there, like, I want to have these amounts of sessions, or I want to be on national TV, or what's your dream? What do you want to achieve?
So here I think the next phase of Coffee with Humans is to take Coffee with Humans on the road.
Yeah.
So not only is it having coffee, virtual coffee with a stranger, now it's not virtual anymore. Now it is at a coffee shop somewhere in the world. We learn a little bit about that area. We learn a little bit about that coffee shop. And then I sit down in that coffee shop with a stranger, not from the coffee shop, but like somebody who signed up, who wanted to be out, right? I sit down in that coffee shop and we have our live discussion, like, hey, welcome to Coffee with Humans. We sit down and then we have a little dialogue, just chatting about whatever, sitting in that coffee shop. I think that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see it as a web show, or hell yeah, let's put on TV. I'd like it to have some higher production quality and edited down in some ways or something like that at some point, so that people want to watch it.
Yeah. And I think you need to have someone helping you. So someone in Europe doing that. You're doing it in the States, and then or we both go to Israel and do some. I would love to join you. It's so much fun. And even if I'm really saying, yeah, I want to join you. Anyway, or going to a coffee shop and someone is sitting there all by him or herself and just sit down and start talking and with the camera and see what happens. Awesome. I love the show, by the way, of Jerry Seinfeld on Netflix, Coffee with what is that? Coffee with
Oh,
Cars or Cars with Coffee.
comedians and cars getting coffee.
I love that show. It's so funny. It's so cool, and it's nice and relaxed, and then the music and the beautiful cars, of course, and the
Right?
conversations that are sometimes really not interesting at all, but it's a lovely concept. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like them.
and that's, I'd love to see that kind of happen uh, with Coffee with Humans, because I think I've proven at this point in time that people want to connect, and they want to be involved in other people's connections too, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, and the South African tour sounds great. I think it'd be fantastic. And yeah, like legit, I want to see an episode where it starts off instead of the countdown, that type of stuff. It starts off with, hey, here's a little, almost like a biography about, here we're at, and then here's the coffee shop we're in, where we'll be meeting. I'll be meeting with my new friend so and so, who I've never talked with before, and then sit there, order, say hi to people. You hear the noises of the coffee shop in the background
it's
while
so
two
cool.
people are having a great conversation. To me, it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
to
so
me as
it's
well.
so
Yeah,
conversations around the world in places people will never go.
and have culture clashes. Go to a strange country, and that's what I love with traveling. You go somewhere. I lived in China. When I just came into China, that was awesome to make that connection, although we couldn't communicate with each other. I just came in China, in Beijing, was the first day. I will never forget this. With the family, kids, my wife, two kids, we flew to Beijing. We're going to live in Beijing. Yoo-hoo! And then you have your driver, you have your apartment ready. But we needed to buy a small bed for the youngest, a baby, because they didn't have a baby crib in the apartment. So I said, I will go to IKEA. That's fun. So the first flipping day, the plane just touched the ground. We went to the apartment, no dinner, no sleep, nothing. And I took a taxi to IKEA, Ija in Chinese. So the lady at the reception wrote down IKEA in Chinese so I could give that to a taxi driver. And I went to IKEA. Big surprise, exactly the same shop in Beijing as in Amsterdam. Only the signs are a bit different, but all the rest is exactly the same. So I went there, bought the bed, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing well in China. And I went outside and had this big box with the bed in my hands. And I went to the taxi place, and they were all saying, no, 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 no. Bush, bush, buchau, buchau. And I thought, what the fuck is this? So the box was too big to go into the taxi. It fit into the taxi, but they didn't want to have a big box in the taxi. So to make a long story short, a Chinese dude, offered me to drive me home. He wasn't a taxi driver. So I didn't speak a word of Chinese. And oh my God. So I had this bunch of Chinese people around me trying to communicate with me in order to bring me home. And it was already 9 in the evening, and I just landed in China. Of course, they wanted to have money. Finally, the dude who brought me home had a car, Japanese car with the black lights underneath, the blue lights, and
Yeah.
that kind of music. And oh my God, I was cracking up. He went totally the wrong way in Beijing. I was thinking, that's not the way to the apartment. And I showed him the address. He said, yeah, but I said, no, that's not the direction. We need to go direction airport. So I was pretending to be a plane. God, is that cool? Is that so much fun? And these people are brilliant. And he went into the apartment with me to mount the bed so the baby could be in the bed. So connecting with other people in different countries and different cultures, fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I do want to make it happen. So here's the thing, though. I'm gonna need sponsors. gonna need sponsors if I'm gonna go on a world tour because I can't just put money into Coffee with Humans. It doesn't make any money for me right now. I don't even have I don't even have sponsors. I don't have anybody on it.
It's
I just do it
horrible.
because I love it.
That's a good reason to do it. And you know, if and you're a non-linear thinker, so at some point you will connect the dots that Netflix will come to you and say, Jason, you know what? You spoke with that Amsterdam dude about flying the world and interviewing people everywhere with a cup of coffee. I think we can create something interesting with that. You should
I
do
think
that.
I think it should be done.
Yeah, I think so too. Go for it.
All right. Well, if anybody's got any connections for that, let me know.
Yeah.
Well, we're butting up
Well,
against the end of our time here, Perry. This has been fascinating. Fascinating discussion. Thank you so much. This octopusmovement.org. I did pull up your website here, and I think you're onto something with this. I think you're onto
yeah.
something with this in a big way, globally. So I'm happy to have made the connection.
Thank you.
And yes, thanks to everybody, all our viewers and listeners who
I hope
keep
they
suffering
enjoyed it.
through Coffee with Humans. This is good stuff.
And go to Jason's website. Just sign up. You know,
That's
tell
true.
your story. Don't be shy. Don't be nervous about this. Jason will make it work. He is awesome. Just register at his website, click a date, go to Coffee with Humans. It's awesome. Everybody should do this, and you should be very popular all over the world and have an offer by Netflix to create your own show.
Okay. Let's do that. Like let's absolutely do that. Oh, and thanks to our lovely friend here. Love to see both of you together. So enjoyed, and thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well,
Thank you, Eugenie.
this is another episode of Coffee with Humans, live candid talk show where strangers become friends. I met Perry an hour and a half ago. That's not true. I met him an hour and 10 minutes ago. And before we went live, we only did some tech checks, and then you have gotten to know each other, know us, at the same time that I got to know Perry. So thanks for joining us. Catch us next time. We stream live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and more. Subscribe and share it with your friends. Goodbye.
Do it.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.